So I have 5 minutes for Raw. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. This was this past Monday, January 20th. So 6 days as we speak. Tomorrow morning when this podcast comes out, it'll be a week ago. So this will be like a Raw preview show, I guess. If anyone catches our podcast before they watch Raw, they can get a good week in review. So anyways, Monday Night Raw. So we have our review, like I mentioned. I'll put a link in the description below. For every storyline, me, Vlad, and Robert have thumbs up, thumbs down reviews already. But for the purposes of today, I got 5 topics, and me and Vlad, basically, I'm just going to tell Vlad, choose whatever topic you want to talk about, and we got 5 minutes to talk about Raw. Once that timer runs out, we will have to move on. Sorry, we don't have all day here. We got a lot of shit to do, but there's 5 minutes on the clock. Let me go over some of what happened real quick. 5 main points that I took away. If there's anything else that you remember that I didn't put on this list, you can also talk about that too. But I'll take a minute just to go over what we got. So we got Rhea and Nia. They had a big pull apart, and they ended up having a match on Saturday night's main event, which has already happened. So we'll get to that, our review of that a little later, but they had a little scene here. Gunther and Jey Uso, they had a final face-off. They talked. Gunther cut a promo. Jey Uso also talked, so this was their last chance to speak to each other. This was an interesting topic. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn finally had a meeting. First time since Sami Zayn actually joined the Bloodline and helped Roman in War Games. So KO wasn't too mad about it, but he did mention that he wanted help against Cody from Sami. So that was interesting. And Sami is also helping Seth Rollins, because at the end of the show, Seth Rollins was getting his ass beat by Drew McIntyre, and he jumped in to help.
Oh, yeah.
So he's everybody's friend. That's kind of how I summarize this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Roxanne Perez was pulled away by security when she was there for Bayley's match, because they're feuding on NXT. That was something I was going to hopefully get comments from Robert from. And then CM Punk buried Hulk Hogan on his promo, on his interview. Saying that he's going to throw everyone over, that no one's on his level who's in the Royal Rumble, and that he would even throw over Hulk Hogan's dusty ass, is what he said. But anyways, all right, any of these topics, Vlad, you can go for it, and I'll try to have slides in the background for whatever you're talking about. Let's see if I can pull that off, but go ahead. The floor is yours.
Alrighty, well, I think the most interesting topic was probably Sami and Kevin Owens. There was a lot of Sami, as you said, on this past Raw, so he was figured in quite well on this show. But as you said, he seems to either want to be everyone's friend, or everybody wants them on his, wants him on their side, is what I'm trying to say.
He's too nice a guy, man. It's going to cost him in the end. This is going to be like this. If he ever wants to turn heel, this is the thing that could be like, he could just go crazy, because he's like, man, I'm helping this guy, and he just be like, fuck it, I'm going to look out for myself now. So I feel like that could be a vehicle for a heel turn. But yeah.
I mean, I think it's only, the only thing I could think of, because I don't think he's going to help Kevin Owens beat Cody. So I think maybe it could set up another program, even though we've seen it before between Owens and Sami. But, you know, they love to have matches with each other. So I could see another program with them. But then he was also involved with the Drew and Seth thing, which was quite interesting as well. You know. Yeah,
he ran in to help Seth. Seth rolled up Drew McIntyre, and then Drew McIntyre was going to do a post-match beatdown.
Right.
And then Sami accidentally kicks Seth Rollins in the face to end the show. So he wasn't trying to do that, and I don't know how he's friends with Seth, but he's also friends with Roman. You can't be friends with everyone. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is not.
Everyone likes him, but no, I don't really know what to make of this specific thing. Like, why is he involved in this too? So, Sami's future is a little cloudy as far as who he's going to be working with. Is this going to set up a program with him and Seth then down the line? I don't know, but interesting nonetheless. Don't know what to make of it just yet. But you know, what else was Rhea and I guess Nia? That was a cool. You know, they had to pull apart. She attacked her right prior to the show. They showed that as well, like when she was doing the whole walk-in. Is that what happened? That's what happened. Or is that the week before? Now I don't even remember.
No. Yeah, that was the same day. That was
okay. That was the same day. Okay, I'm not sure. I mean, so much wrestling, you lose track of when and what happened. But yes, here we go. So that was kind of interesting. Set up their match, obviously, at Saturday Night Main Event, which we will be discussing. I will give Rhea full credit. She is a tremendous worker, considering what she got out of Nia in that match. As much as anybody possibly can get out of anyone that wrestles like Nia. The other thing I think, I want to mention is a little bit, before we run out of time, is actually, I don't think it was on your list, but it was the New Day stuff.
Oh, yeah. I didn't put it on the list. They had a scene with JBL, I remember.
Yeah, and I think I just want to say, I want to really like what's going on with the New Day, because we so much like their heel turn and talked about how it was probably one of the best heel turns. Well, we said it was the best heel turn of 2024. So when we voted. So I want to like what's going on with their angle and their story, but I just feel like it's a little bit too, silly and not kind of what I want them to be. I want them to be a little bit more serious as heels, but the whole joking around and kidding around and, here's $2 for JBL, or I don't know, okay, it's a little
trying to bribe him so that they could be so that he could be on their side on commentary is what happened.
It's a little tongue in cheek. If they were really heels, they would have just beat JBL's ass. That's what they should have done. That's what the segment should have been. But whatever, attack him viciously, beat him up with chairs, do something to him. I don't know. And then he ended up losing to Rey Mysterio anyways in the match, which I thought the whole point of this whole thing was to get them some wins and get them over a little bit, as this new heel group. They still lost. I know it was a roll-up, and they still try to get some of the heat back post-match. I guess they kind of did, but so far I'm not really feeling what they've done with them since. They had some cool segments with the thing with Kofi's mom, and obviously that initial segment I thought where they turned heel was good, but everything since then I think they're not doing this quite well in my book. But right. There's other things. There's other things at Raw. There's other things at Raw, but I think those were the main things I wanted to discuss.
No. I'm with you there, and that's why I didn't put it on my list of topics, because I was trying to choose the best things, and I guess that didn't land in one of my top 5 topics from Raw. But moving along.
Yeah.
I'm working on my way towards Saturday Night Main Event, which is the big event that happened last night. So just to get there, we're just going to rush to that. We're going to do SmackDown and then Saturday Night's Main Event, and then we'll go back and cover NXT and AEW. So let's go to SmackDown. Let's put 5 minutes on the clock for SmackDown, and our review is in the description below, our full review, if anyone wants to know our reviews of all the storylines. But for the purposes of this show, once again, Vlad, you have my blog post on your phone, I think. But here are our topics. So the picture I have is the Braun Strowman Jacob Fatu meeting. So they also had a match at Saturday Night's Main Event, which we will get to in a minute. But the other topics, let me just go through them real quick before I get to your comments. Let's see. Kevin Owens defeated Jimmy Uso. So then he brawled with Cody to end the show because he was going to give him a packaged pile driver on the announce desk. Remember? And Jimmy Uso ran out to defend Matthew McConaughey, which was, I don't know if you remember that.
Yes,
but,
yes.
Let's see, Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. Strowman got the best of this one. I think they had a little fight, and Strowman clotheslined him over the ropes. The Miz's worst nightmares come true. He's back on the same brand as the Wyatt Six. So he moved the Wyatt Six to SmackDown, or, he angled to have them move to SmackDown so he could be away from them. And now he got moved to SmackDown too. Also, Damian Priest has moved to SmackDown. That's an interesting development. And then there was a big scene where all the major female superstars, all of them came out and said they were going to win the Royal Rumble. So that was interesting just because it was a lot of superstars. Nia, Bianca, Naomi, Rhea was there, Liv Morgan was there, and then it turned out to be a 6-man tag for this show. But anyways, so whatever you want to jump to from any of these topics, and I'll try to put some slides in the background to make it look more interesting.
Yeah, man, it's a little difficult with SmackDown because it's a longer show than even Raw is now, and it's also just not as good a show. It's a lot of filler, a lot of stuff I don't even know what to do. I guess the stuff with Kevin Owens and Jimmy Uso and the stuff with Cody sticks out in a sense, because it's a main event feud. It's setting up one of the big Saturday night. Well, that wasn't setting up, but it was setting up the contract signing at the very least. I mean, they were featured in it. It didn't have a match. The match was for the Royal Rumble, obviously. I mean, I'm talking about Cody and Kevin Owens. But, Jimmy Uso, I don't know what to make of Jimmy Uso. I have to be honest, as a character, like what they're trying to do with him, I don't think he's believable as like some single guy. They have him kind of losing a couple matches here and there. I guess that's believable. I guess that makes sense, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about what to do with either Uso brother, honestly. Specifically Jay, but Jimmy I also don't know what to do with. But it was cool. The KO Cody thing is a good feud. By the way, is there a clock? Or am I not seeing it? I just want to know where I am time wise.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. There it is.
Oh, okay, sweet. I just want to know where I am. The other good thing is, the Strowman Jacob Fatu thing. I mean, the angle so far to set it up has been, so-so. But the fact that these two guys kind of meet in the ring, Jacob Fatu is just so good, man. He does everything well in wrestling. Like, I don't think I've not seen him do anything poor. Like, he can talk, he can work, he has a great look. The crazy eye look that he does, the little shimmy that he does, which LA Knight made fun of on SmackDown, I believe, which was pretty funny.
I didn't mention that the match was supposed to be Tama Tonga against LA Knight, and then that's when Jacob Fatu attacked LA Knight, and that's right. That's why this turned into a fight between Jacob and Strowman. So Strowman was there to help help LA Knight, excuse me. But right, go ahead, Vlad, sorry.
Yeah, right. It was part of another angle, which LA Knight is also involved in with the former bloodline, the new bloodline. I don't know what they are now. They're just two badass Samoans or Tongans or whatever the hell, right? At this point. But yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed that. That's probably one of the better things that happened on SmackDown. And the other stuff, I think, what was it? There was a women's, where all the women were talking about the Royal Rumble, right? That was on SmackDown?
Yes.
All the main ones were there,
yes,
right?
Rhea, Liv Morgan. It turned into a big tag team match that the heels won. But
right.
Other than that, what about we got the movement now. I guess Damian Priest is away from Judgment Day. On SmackDown, so that's kind of good. The Miz also, I guess he had a really funny look on his face when he found out he got moved to SmackDown. I don't know. I got a kick out of it, but
I thought what was really funny is when he thought he had Theory and what's the other?
Theory and Waller, because he's trying to make friends on SmackDown now that he needs like allies. He finally found one.
We're gonna be in the Marine 7. And then they're like, you guys have moved to Raw. Okay, I thought that was pretty funny. But other than that, SmackDown is hard to get through, I have to be honest. As we've been discussing this 3-hour format. We believe that, well, we don't know, but at some point in 2025, they're going to go back to 2 hours. And I'm really counting the days and weeks that happens, because it's a much better show when it's 2 hours. I'm sorry. 3 hours is not necessary when you don't have the characters or the angles to do that. I'll leave it at that. But no, I know there's a lot of featured, like the tag team stuff. I just don't care about any of that stuff. I'm sorry. Like, I know we talk about DIY or the Motor City Machine Guns or whatever. I'm just not I like all those guys as workers or wrestlers potentially, but none of this isn't interesting to me at all. So yeah. That's it. I think that's really all we're talking about.
Once again, those guys didn't make my top 5 topics that I put on the list of topics here to talk about, but that's okay. It is on our YouTube post, so guys, go check that out. Also in the description below if you want to know what we thought about DIY and Pretty Deadly and Legado del Fantasma. But anyways, moving along. We're going to Saturday night's main event. All right, so I'm putting about 5 minutes on the clock again. Let's see what we got. So I got some topics here. Also, our full review with Robert is in the description below if you guys want to see what we thought of every storyline. There weren't that many storylines. It was kind of a shorter show with just kind of matches. But here are our topics. So Cody and KO had their contract signing. Rhea retained the world title against Nia Jax. Clean win. Gunther also retained the World Heavyweight title in a hard-fought match against Jey Uso. And then Jacob Fatu got DQ'd, so the referee was telling him, not to do something. I forgot what he was doing. And then he just grabbed the referee and fucking kicked his ass. And then proceeded to beat up Braun Strowman. So I don't know. I'm curious to get your thoughts on the finish there and the booking. But and also Sheamus, he fought Braun Breaker and he lost, right? He just physically didn't have the capability of overcoming Braun Breaker, broke down. And his wait for his last WWE title that he hasn't won, the Intercontinental title, is going to continue. So his quest for the Intercontinental title. All right, Vlad. Well, there are your topics. Let's see what I got.
Yeah,
I got some slides. So go ahead and choose a topic, and I'll find some slides for you.
Sure. I think the most interesting thing, there were two main things that I enjoyed, was the Jacob Fatu. Let's start there, because you mentioned why was he disqualified in the first place. He was disqualified, I guess, because he kept doing that. Let's just call it the hip attack. I don't know what they call it, the Samoan something. I don't know what they call it.
Because they're on the ropes when you do that, technically, so you can't just keep doing it.
Yeah, and he kept doing it over and over. But my problem with it, as a move that they kept doing it over and over, is like you could just tell that the guy's not really getting hit at all. Like he's just hitting the ropes. Like it's a move that look like, if you're just not watching closely, like, oh yeah, he's hitting his head. Look at the sound that made. But dude, he's not even hitting anywhere near his head. Like you could even see it. So it's not really a move that I would want to do an injury angle on like that. So that's the only problem. I would have given this 2 stars because I thought it was a great angle to make it, to really get
2 thumbs up on our list, right? You mean?
So yeah, 2 thumbs. What did I say?
Yes.
Well, yeah, 2 thumbs up. I would have given it 2 thumbs up. Like really liked it, but I only gave it 1 because of that aspect of it not looking realistic or looking bad. Kind of as Jim Cornette would say, phony. It just didn't look right to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, Fatu looked great. He's just being booked incredibly well, like a monster. They're doing everything right with him so far. I hope they keep doing stuff right with him because he's an amazing character. He's an amazing worker. He's great on every level of wrestling. He's great. Like they just got a gem here. They just got a gem. The fact that this guy wasn't on a major company and he was working in some MWL the last whatever the heck is a crime, because this guy is tremendous. But so I'm fine with the booking. I'm fine with that. Yeah, he got disqualified, but who cares? I don't think it hurt him at all. The other thing, the Cody, Kevin Owens, HBK thing, I thought was really solid, really good. That they had the whole, the only person that could get this done is HBK thing, which I didn't really buy, but okay, I went with it. And Kevin Owens was really good here. as all of his shirts are quite creative. I also enjoyed all of the Kevin Owens shirts. This is like an old reference to, I guess, when one of the Funks used to say to Dusty Rhodes, I don't even know what the heck, he sucks eggs, or what kind of insult that was back in the 70s, or I don't even know, bro. But it's funny that he puts that on his shirts and it gets all those references from, like, it goes back to Dusty, really.
He was going to put HBK in the package pile driver. That was pretty hardcore, huh?
Yes. I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that. He was going to put him in the package pile driver, and then ended up, Cody obviously did not let that happen, and then Shawn Michaels gave him the sweet chin music, which was also a cool moment, and, set up nicely for the Royal Rumble. I think, personally, I just think, like, people are like, well, Cody shouldn't lose till Mania, or he should have the title going into Mania. I'm fine with him having the title into Mania, but I don't think I think Kevin Owens deserves at least a little run with the belt, because honestly, I would have had him win at the last 7 night main event and have Cody regain it here at the Royal Rumble, at least for a little bit. I would have liked that, to be honest. I think that would have been better booking. Like, Cody doesn't have to win every match. The guy's already super over. Like, it's not going to hurt him. I don't know. I think he could still be the champion into WrestleMania and still lose. Even this Royal Rumble, I think he should lose for a short time, but regain it prior to WrestleMania, which they still have plenty of shows and matches and pay-per-views. They have the Elimination Chamber, and I'm sure they'll probably have something else prior to.
Now, Shawn Michaels is super bald though. They took his hat off for like 1 second. He's really
Bald. He went. I mean, the guy. It's funny when you watch because we're watching Raw '96 and you see this really good-looking guy with all this long hair.
Yeah, I know.
That all the chicks are after and all going crazy for. And now, I mean, I know time. It's like 30 years later, realistically, right? But that's what time does to you. But it's a shame that he lost his hair like that. That really is a shame because he really is.
Yeah.
Bald.
Hey, let me ask you though about the Jacob Fatu thing because he lost the match. He got DQ'd. Didn't care about the match. You don't think it matters?
Nah, he still got over like crazy in this whole thing. And I don't.
All right.
Yeah, so I think that's great. I mean, they're doing it right, but I don't think it just made him look like he was just psychotic, which is what they're going for here. Real quick, I'll just say
Gunther and Rhea I think they were both predictable, right? So I wasn't really into the idea of either match.
Well, I already credited Rhea for working with Nia because I think it's difficult to work with someone like that. So good on her for getting anything out of her. Gunther winning, I mean, obviously that was predictable. My only thing was how they ended the match. It was, I don't know, like they had to like really. I think they were running out of time, and they were like, "Oh, I kind of figured they were like the referees were talking to them like, hey, we got to go. Let's go to the finish." But the finish was like all sudden out of nowhere because just prior, Gunther was kicking out of everything, right? He was just kicking out of all of Jey Uso's moves, all of his main moves, the splash, the kick, the super kicks. What else does he do? He did one other thing to him that was like supposed to be, and then out of nowhere, Gunther just power bombs him twice. Boom, boom, 1, 2, 3. Didn't like that finish because it was too sudden and too out of nowhere. I understand they were out of time, but if they were out of time and they knew that, they shouldn't have gone to those. He should have been kicking out of stuff just a second ago earlier. So that's one thing. Gunther is a great wrestler, but that was he should have reeled that one in and figured out another way, especially if they knew time was an issue. And they know time is an issue here because they're on fucking NBC, and they're not going to let them go another 10 minutes. Like, hey, when it's the top of the hour, we're done. Like
they need to call the head of NBC and be like, hey, Gunther's match with Jey Uso, it's not done yet. We need like 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
What are they gonna go to? Some news about fucking Trump or something? Who gives a fuck?
Well, no, you're right. They should have asked for 5 minutes, but they did. But they're probably not going to get it, or they were worried they weren't going to get it because they didn't. Because it just ended. It ended right at the top of the hour. But anyways, that's my only thing with that. Otherwise, good match, predictable finish. But no, that's it.
All right,
I think we can move on from that.
Real quick, do you like the idea of Saturday night's main event?
Well, I like certain elements to it. Like one thing you didn't mention on this is, and I think you talked about previously when we were talking about broadcasters, is Jesse Ventura. I really like Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of nostalgia on this shit.
Well, I also think he's good as like this heel commentator. He was talking about like, he was really, really wanting. Well, it's weird. The Sheamus thing was kind of weird because I guess Sheamus isn't really the heel, but he was kind of saying that Sheamus. I don't know. Maybe that's one of those weird ones. But he does a really good job with being a heel commentator. That's kind of missing in today's wrestling, as you have mentioned previously, in some of your comments about the commentators and stuff like that. And I agree with you. And Jesse is really good here. Other than that, do I like it?
And we just had a 3-hour Smackdown the night before, and now they want us to watch another 2 hours on fucking Saturday, bro. That's the issue. Like, these people are crazy. Like, stop it. We have lives. We can't just watch fucking wrestling all day. I mean, I like the wrestling as much as anyone. I would watch wrestling all day if I could, but I have, like, obligations and relationships and friendships.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
I could, like, drop all that and watch wrestling all the time. And Collision and everything, and I don't know. All right, that's all I want to say about that.
Yeah, but yeah, real quick, I just want to say that I think just something in the sense of it's just too much, especially when there was a show the previous day. But overall, I kind of am okay with it. I just think that because they're so heavily like there's such a time restriction on these matches, they don't really get to flesh them out completely. Or flesh them out, I should say. Some of them could have been fleshed, I guess. But nonetheless, because they're on this time restriction.
They need more time for the matches? That's what you're saying? Oh, my God.
Well, I think in some cases, yes, because they some of these matches, some of them could have gone a little bit longer, and some of them were fine as is. But overall, I think it just kind of feels like, as you said previously, maybe like a house show, type of deal, but